Good evening, everyone. I am Neha, Ambassador of Change for GETI, that is Global Education and Training Institute, founded and conceptualized by Dr. Sunita Gandhi with the vision of disrupting education. Alongside, we also provide training to in-service and pre-service teachers so that they can actually help us in spearheading the disruptive education movement. We also organize Tea Talks, something that's happening right now, where we invite policymakers, educators, and bureaucrats to discuss with us various best practices and help us make amendments in education every now and then. Today, I am very thrilled and honored to have with us Ms. Rupendra Malia from Punjab. She is the founder and owner of Vision Upgraded. It's an English language proficiency training institute based yet again in Maharashtra. My brief conversation with her made me realize that she's also a communication enhancer, an author, and also a podcaster. Thank you so much, ma'am, for joining us today, this evening. It's a pleasure to have you over here.
Thank you
Ladies and
so much.
gentlemen, okay, sorry, ma'am, sorry, you were saying something.
Thank you so much, Neha. And just to correct you, it's not based in Maharashtra.
Hello? 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 I think there's some technical glitch from the end of our. Ma'am, there was a technical glitch and I couldn't really hear you after Hi Neha. So could you repeat what you just said? Because
Yeah, I was just telling you that it's not based in Maharashtra. It's based in Punjab. So maybe by
my
mistake you
God.
said Maharashtra.
I'm so
Yeah,
sorry. Based in Punjab, the
yeah.
organization, and ma'am also is based in Punjab. Today, she comes to us with a very interesting topic, something that has been a note for research all around globally and in India as well. That is connecting with learners as educators, as teachers, as parents, as mentors, how we can best connect with our students and drop our own biases for a while and really communicate with them so that they can actually, so that knowledge transfer in its actual sense takes place. Ma'am, could you please take us through this topic, introduce this topic to our audience, and then we'll carry on the conversation ahead.
Yeah, thank you so much, Neha. And really, it's like very close to my heart, this topic, because as a student earlier, like during the times of my own education, and then after becoming a teacher, I always felt that the main reason why the learners are not able to learn any particular subject, or when they do not feel any liking for a particular concept or something, the teachers play an important role over there. Mostly the subjects which we hate, we end up even hating the teachers. Hate is a very strong word, I'm sorry to use that, but still disliking would be an appropriate term. That whenever we just dislike some subject, we never find a kind of connectivity with that teacher also. So it's not just the subject has some kind of difficulty level or the concepts which we are not able to understand, but even sometimes the way the subject or the concept is taught to us or explained to us, then we end up disliking the subject as well as the teacher. So I feel that with time, like teachers, educators need to come up with something new, something worthwhile, where the children can, the students can interact during the lesson, and practicality to that aspect. That practically how to like to have some kind of say role plays in the class or something, where the children actually can practically experience that particular thing, not only the theoretical part of the subject. So creating a connect doesn't just mean that to talk during the lesson or something like that. Of course, interaction is important, but healthy, worthwhile interaction plus understanding the doubts of the learners. If the students are feeling comfortable during the lesson, that they have the confidence to get up from their seat and ask you in a very polite manner about their doubts, and you are also there to help them out, you are able to actually understand the query and come up with some kind of solution to it. Mostly you must have also experienced this thing when you were a student, that teachers love the noises in the class. Noises in the way, not the noises where students are disturbing the class, but when in a group they ask, have you understood, and there comes this group noise.
Unanimous,
Yes,
yes, yes.
ma'am. Yeah. So they ignore actually some of the students who have not understood the thing. They just go by this noise. Have you understood? Yes, ma'am. So actually, for me, like from my experience as a student and as well as a teacher, I feel that if you are a kind of teacher who can actually understand this thing, that there are certain people in the class who have not understood it, and if they have the confidence to comfortably get up during the lesson or ask you during the lesson that, ma'am, I have not understood this thing, and that actually shows the connect you have with the learners. Sometimes what I have observed, certain teachers would feel that like it's more important to have a fan following. So it's not about fan following for the teacher. It's actually creating a kind of relationship where they like have trust on you, where they feel that yes, in my process of learning, this teacher can actually help me out. So this is what this whole concept it means to me, and it appeals to me in that way, to create a healthy relationship between the teacher and the taught.
Absolutely. That's a wonderful introduction, ma'am. It reminds me that when you want to connect with someone, irrespective you're a teacher or a mentor or a parent, I think one of the first thing that we have to do is we have to drop our own beliefs and actually sit with the other person, which brings me to my point that as humans, we navigate our lives through a lot of cognitive biases, confirmation bias, unconscious bias, halo effect. So, what is your take on this, and how would you advise teachers to drop their cognitive biases for a while and sit with students and be curious about what they're saying, what they're trying to say, what their behavior is saying, and be compassionate with them? Compassionate curiosity of sorts. I'm talking about
Mhm.
something where they can put their beliefs for a while in
Mhm.
the back and sit with the students. That's how, maybe that's how connection starts, when I don't judge you for who you are, but I accept what you are, I understand what you're trying to say. How can that be possible, in a classroom setting, maybe?
It's very interesting question, Neha. Actually, the kind of teachers we become is the exact replica of the kind of teachers we had when we were students. So actually, we are programmed in that way. And recently, like I was writing an article also for a magazine on same topic, and I quoted somebody over there that the illiterates of 21st century would not be those who don't know how to write and read, but those who do not know how to learn, relearn, and unlearn, right? So you have to put away certain biases, as you mentioned, certain things that no, teaching is just about that. If I'm a teacher, if I'm a mentor or something, that this is how the decorum is going to be. But of course, with times we have to change. And during pandemic, as you have seen, the total total shift in the whole teaching learning process, it has come up. And now even it's very difficult, how the students, due to these online platforms, they made a fool out of teachers. And how this pandemic actually has awakened certain teachers that they need to come up and they need to change with the times. They need to unlearn certain things and relearn the others. They have to be friends with technology. They have to learn the things. So it is important. And yes, of course, then I think with time this thing have, or the notion has changed. Earlier the teachers used to feel that no, this is going to be like this. My teachers taught me in this way, and I believe in this fact, and the students have to be quiet, I have to talk during the lesson. And now even the terminology has changed. From teacher we have become facilitators. that we have to
Yes.
provide the facility in the class to the students where they are learning. We are just facilitating the process. So there are changes, but still many teachers have to change this whole mindset, and being being friends with teacher with students, or being friendly, there is a difference. We have to create, or we have to maintain that gap, of course, but then at the same time change with the the changing scenario. We have to understand the learners. You cannot keep the children engaged just by displaying a smart board these days. The moment children are born, they have the smartphones in their hands. They know voice search, touch screen, and everything. How can we just engage them by displaying certain animated objects on the screen? So we have to come up with something innovative in the classroom, and same likewise for even the senior students, middle wings, and secondary students. Just showing video will not work now in today's era. We have to come up with something extraordinary. So these cognitive biases, of course, teachers have to like leave and relearn certain things with the times.
Absolutely. And since you mentioned pandemic, it makes me realize that technology is going to play a very important role in education in the coming years. So technology is obviously a very huge barrier to connection. So, connecting with students, in the midst of staring at your screen and zero empathy is there, oxytocin levels will automatically shrink. So what's your opinion, and how can teachers cultivate connection in the age of technology when so much learning is going online now these days? How can we do that, again, in a classroom setting? Again, it applies.
First of all, the same thing which I was discussing with you, that we have to move one step further. Just you cannot imagine this thing that I have displayed something and students are going to just keep on looking at the screen and they will feel a kind of connect. The teacher has to keep on speaking something in the class, or come up with something like just not just the video playing thing, but something where there is an interaction going on between the teacher and the taught, where they are exploring, they are discussing these things in a classroom setting, I mean. And when even you must have observed during this pandemic, when the students were there on the other side of the screen, how like it was difficult in the beginning for the teachers to conduct the sessions and to understand all these Zoom platforms and many things. But then the thing is, like in the classrooms too, maybe you must have also observed this thing, that sometimes even students help the teachers in the usage of these technical equipment and everything. And I think a good teacher is the one who understands, gives respect to the students, appreciate their efforts, and then having a talk with the students, that what actually, some kind of feedback session or something, that what do actually they need, how can I improve my lesson. There is nothing wrong in getting this feedback directly from the learners, instead of having the authorities to get that feedback on your behalf. Why not like connecting with them and having some kind of discussion, whatever they like in today's time. Students, like if you talk about outside the classroom scenario, all these things, rappers and roasting, it has become very common. Same kind of mindset students bring within the class. Actually, it's not criticism. They have, like, they are exposed to so many things. So when to say what in front of whom, students have actually forgotten this thing. But the thing is, the teacher is alert about the things, and if the teacher mentions all these things, that I know what you people watch outside, or I know these terminologies, at least not the watch outside thing, even the terminologies, or the teacher also shows some kind of attachment, that I know rap, I can rap, we can change this lesson into this kind of a song or something. I think they feel connected, and this is the need of the hour. Once they feel that yes, the teacher is just somebody who knows me, who understands my lifestyle, they feel a better connection. This is what I have personally observed from my own teaching in the classroom setting, how I observe the students. You won't believe, like, there was a discussion on the bulletin boards in the classroom scenario, and we teachers had a very fixed mindset that okay, we are going to put something related to grammar, something related to any bio subject, bio topic or something. Students came up with a very unique thing, that we want something like anime art on the board.
Anime.
And
Okay.
for a second we got shocked because we were not even aware what anime art was. So I just realized that day that no, they are like one step further into observation of the world around, and we have just a fixed mindset. We just feel that this is there in the textbook and this is how we have to go.
Absolutely, absolutely. Your experience as a whole as a teacher is actually helping, this discussion drive its agenda towards connecting with children. Again, there's one more point that I think is that no matter what teachers do, there are some students who will not want to connect, mainly because they have a history of maybe bad parenting. I think it's a very bold term to use, but maybe bad parenting, some sort of trauma in their lives. So, how do teachers bypass this and connect with the students? Students who are misbehaving because they want attention because they do not get attention at home, and because there are some students in every classroom who are going to be like this. So, how do teachers navigate their way around these kids who are trauma inflicted or have some sort of thing going on at home and therefore they're not able to concentrate? So, what's one way teachers can do that?
It's very true that we have all kinds of learners in one classroom setting. But I feel personally that they all our students, they are good listeners. Whether they show it or not, actually they listen, right? Sometimes, of course, they are creating trouble. They behave in a way that I was not listening to anything. Actually, they listen to everything, and this is how they react in a way, maybe intentionally, that no, we were not aware. Like, what were you trying to convey to us or something? But actually, they are very smart, and they listen to everything. So sometimes, instead of, like, suppose there is a child or there is a student in the class who's not like listening to you, or is little reluctant to learn something or to have a peaceful atmosphere in the class, I think to directly target that student again and again, that will make the child stubborn in a way. Then indirectly targeting that student by storytelling or something, like where we are actually talking to some other student but trying to convey the idea over there. And it takes time, of course. It doesn't change overnight. Those who are reluctant, they are going to take a little bit of your time, consume your energy, and test your patience level. And of course, but gradually I feel that like practically, when you don't target them directly, but you observe from the outside scenario what do they like and dislike, and then you try to bring that thing in the class without telling them directly that this is for you, but you are just having it in the class. Maybe for kinesthetic students, some kind of activity, some kind of passing something from one place to another where they can get up and move around in the class, something like that. It has to happen, and it brings a change in them. Because students, especially school students, they are not like I cannot use the term like they're not bad at heart. They actually, they don't understand the thing. They feel that no, this is something cool. They need to talk to the teacher like this or that, but gradually they understand. If we don't like directly target them, they do understand.
That's a good question. One you would just mentioned that it's going to be difficult for teachers to connect, which brings me to a point where that there's only so much that a teacher can do, or as a human, there's only so much that you can connect with some students. So, don't you think that teachers should also be getting some help from, say, the senior management or the management of the school to, assist them to connect with students, maybe shrinking the size of the classroom or increasing the length of the period. I'm no expert, but what is your take on help from the senior management to teachers to connect with students?
It's very very important. Most of the times, I have experience of teaching line, like directly working in a school for 8 years, right?
Okay.
So I know the scenario over there, the kind of stress teachers go through. Mostly they feel connected with the students, they want to teach, they are interested in classroom teaching, but there are so many other things which are there once they enter the class and they start to teach. The
Absolutely.
pressures, the reports they have to give to so many people. It's not only to the management or something out there. Management never directly targets the teachers, but to their own like coordinators, to the vice principal, principal. So there is a lot of stress. They are not able to concentrate on teaching directly, right? Every teacher like who has opted for this profession, he or she likes to go to the class, interact with the students, but then of course all these things, at the back of their mind, oh, I had to submit this report. Okay, next lesson is free, but I have to report to the coordinator and I have to present all these things. Okay, in the fourth lesson I have my lesson observation. So all these things, all these stresses they go through, and sometimes that doesn't let them be what they actually are, the kind of
Yes,
teacher they want to be.
absolutely.
These stresses actually they trouble them, and managements, of course, they need to provide them some kind of help, like in case like they are just stuck with these lesson planning and everything, at least somebody to hold their hand, somebody to help them out in that task. Then they have come up with some creative lesson plannings, but then let them teach in the class in a very free mode, and not with all these
Absolutely.
stresses and the moment that they are standing in front of the class and having thousand other things to think on. These should be like taken care of by the managements. This is like really the need of the hour.
Absolutely, absolutely. Also, one more thing, as teachers, don't you think other teachers should be helping each other? Like students help each other, friends help each other. How about an idea where teachers help each other? Exchange best practices and tell what's working, what's not working. Just
It's
as a
very
group.
important. Hmm.
That's
It's very
absolutely.
important because sometimes, even if your subject is different than mine, the way you handle the situation or the kind of activity you did in the class, even I can do the same with my own subject. It's important. And of course, we as teachers, like as a fraternity, we understand, we should be understanding actually each other, because we all are sailing in the same boat. We know the stresses. So it's very important to help the colleagues, like with of course providing these ideas. And it never like I what I have felt, I have always learned a lot from the teachers who were teaching the different subject than me, like from the maths teachers, social science teachers, that how they are creating a kind of parliament, mini parliament in the classroom, or a maths teacher is teaching the concept with her own practical ways. So it was always interesting and it's always possible. But the problem again here is like the politics which goes on in the staff rooms. So it has to stop somewhere, and we need to understand this thing, that all these things they keep on moving in the same way, but as a fraternity we need to help each other, of course. Then the
Absolutely.
things would become easier for everybody, as a whole. So it's not about just one teacher getting benefit out of it, but actually the whole group.
Absolutely, absolutely. I don't think we have any more questions. And so, would you like to wrap this conversation before I take you, to giving us some takeaways for this? Would you like to, tell us more about something you have researched on connecting with learners before we, wrap this and take you to some key
I think
takeaways?
if you are, if you are a teacher, you belong to this profession, then it's very important, as the last question was, to connect with your fellow, your colleagues, means your fellow beings. So in that staff room setting or anywhere inside the building of that school, when you share the best practices, even during the weekends, like suppose there are no classes over there, and you are sharing in a group that this is how my lesson went, this is how I taught the topic in the class. All these things help a lot, and we should never be feeling in that way that this is some kind of a burden. Like
Absolutely.
I wanted to check the notebooks, and now they have put up this task on me or something. It will help you. Maybe you'll not understand it, at the earlier stages, but later on you will be thankful for all those group discussions where you and your colleagues they sat together and had some kind of discussion. It's important. And never be afraid to ask for help in case you
Absolutely.
are under some kind of stress, you're not able to manage something, you're not able to come up with something creative to go for the lesson or the planning of the lesson or something. You should always be talking to your colleagues. Go to the coordinator, senior persons available over there for your help. Never be stressed, like sitting alone in the staff room and just cribbing over the thing that I have so many things to do, I don't know how to do this or that. Instead, like take out time and go to somebody who can really help you out. That will really bring some kind of peace to you.
Absolutely, absolutely. Okay. So, ma'am, before we wrap this talk, would you give our audience and people who will eventually watch this three takeaways which they can, immediately if they start it, then it's taking them to the road where they can, connect with learners. Three direct points which any teacher, aspiring teacher, existing teacher, or a mentor or a principal, three absolutely blunt takeaways which they can use to connect with the learners, because it's actually a very important topic. I don't usually do this takeaway question, but I think it's very important for teachers, who are teachers are our main audience. So I think this is a question which they would really like to know, because they understand the importance of connecting with learners. They understand that they have to drop their biases. They understand they have to walk an extra mile to connect with students who are trauma inflicted. But what is something that teachers can start tomorrow onwards in their classroom? Three things, and that was going to help them connect with learners, students.
First of all, to upgrade our knowledge for the subject. Don't be
Okay.
just sitting over there that I know I have learned this. No, each
Mhm.
day, as we were discussing in the beginning, unlearn and relearn. Very
Okay.
important in this era. Then the
That's one.
usage of technology.
Okay.
You have to be tech savvy no matter what. In this scenario, you cannot ignore this fact that I may learn this later, or this thing can be done by my colleague, I'll not do this. You have to learn the use of technology and everything, digital
Okay.
lesson planning, and the execution of those lessons. It's very
Okay.
important. And
Okay.
third, never give up in this thing, or the way means when we were talking about this last answer, that talk to somebody, talk to the expert actually. Don't go to somebody like who's already struggling in that scenario and already crying that I don't know how to manage the time, I don't know how to execute this lesson in the real timing. Go to some expert whom you have already seen that this person is good at this thing, her students or his students are already enjoying the lesson, and she is able to bring good results. Talk to that expert. That
Okay.
person can only help you.
Okay. So first is unlearning. Second is being tech savvy. Third is asking for help. I hope that's going to help
Because
our audience.
yes,
Sorry.
because ultimately all these things are going to bring a changed teacher within you, and then you are going to be the most favorite teacher over there within the classroom setting, because you understand the things, you are able to connect with the learners, you are able to bring all those things in the classroom which they actually are looking for. So you are never cribbing, you are always smiling when you are there, you are open to their questioning. So it's ultimately going to make you a good teacher and means help you build a right connection, right connect with the students, a good rapport with the students, I would say.
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. That was a wonderful session, ma'am. Thank you for this conversation. I think in a very short period of time, we covered so many topics and aspects of connecting with learners, from biases to peer learning to management, and to three takeaways. Also, you mentioned that was a very wonderful session. Thank you so much, ma'am, for joining us. Do you have any parting words before we actually end the conversation now?
I'm very thrilled and I'm very thankful to GETI Lucknow, Global Education and Teachers Training Institute. This is a wonderful platform, actually, as you mentioned, that you always invite people related to the field of education. So it's important, actually, and different people bringing their own set of, thinking and thoughts from your platform. They are circulating it towards outside over there to many other teachers who are actually who might be in a need or something. So it's always
Absolutely.
important, and this platform is really like a wonderful platform to come up with something important. And I congratulate you and your team, madam, who's conducting all these things, organizing all these things. And I would just convey my best wishes for you for the future endeavors. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, man. Thank you for joining us today. Thank you. Hope to see
Thank
you
you.
around soon.